Welcome, traveler. Tonight we journey into a story of wisdom, wonder, and timeless thought. This is not a tale of war, nor a tale of swords. It is a tale of seeking, of listening, of quiet discovery. Long ago, on the heights of Olympus, there lived Athena, goddess of wisdom and keeper of reason. She watched the world of mortals with patient eyes, seeing questions bloom like flowers in every heart. But one whisper stirred her curiosity beyond measure, a whisper hidden in the halls of her great library. It spoke of something more enduring than stone, more radiant than light, the mystery of the mind eternal. What could it mean, she wondered? For thought to last beyond time, for knowledge to echo without end? Her heart did not yearn for conquest, nor for praise. It yearned to understand the river of all minds. And so begins her journey, not with banners or armies, but with silence, scrolls, and a lantern flame. As you listen, let your own thoughts travel beside hers. For this story is not hers alone, it is ours too. For the mind eternal is not distant. It lives in questions, in dreams, and in the courage to seek gently. The halls of the library stretched wide, filled with scrolls older than kingdoms and softer than silk. Every step echoed like a heartbeat, a rhythm reminding her that knowledge was alive within these walls. The flame of her lantern swayed, casting gentle light upon shelves that seemed endless, without horizon. Athena walked slowly, her eyes drawn not to the grand titles, but to the silence that lay between them. It was here, in stillness, that a whisper rose. A sound not of wind, not of voice, but of thought itself. She paused, turning her head, her hand resting lightly on a scroll, as if it might breathe beneath her. The whisper did not command. It invited. It curved around her like water, finding the cracks of stone. Athena, it seemed to murmur. Seek the mind eternal, the thought that outlives all ages and all names. She did not fear the sound, for it carried no threat. It carried wonder, soft as dawn and vast as night. The goddess of wisdom felt, for the first time in an age, a spark of mystery greater than her knowing. What was eternal mind? Could it be the memory of humankind? Or the pulse of creation itself? She lifted the lantern higher, as though light could catch the invisible trail of that hidden voice. Around her, the scrolls rustled, though no hand touched them, as if the words wished to be remembered. She closed her eyes and listened deeply, letting the quiet gather around her like a woven cloak. The whisper grew clearer, though still without form, as if it were born of questions, not of answers. It spoke not once, but many times, in tones of poets, of children, of elders who had walked the earth. Their voices blended, timeless, carrying fragments of dreams that had never fully disappeared. Athena understood then. The mind eternal was not a single thought, but a chorus of countless voices. She touched the shelf gently, as if to thank it, then let her fingers fall back to her side in calm grace. In her heart rose a new determination, soft yet firm, to seek the path that this whisper had opened. No map could chart this course, no decree from Olympus could define it. It was a journey of listening. She turned away from the chamber of scrolls, her lantern light drawing arcs upon marble pillars. The night outside awaited her, cool and full of stars, as though the heavens leaned close to hear. Her sandals pressed softly against the stone, marking the first steps of a search that belonged to all. She breathed deeply, knowing the path ahead would hold silence, questions, and revelations unknown. And yet she felt no burden. She felt a gift, the gift of curiosity that no end of time could diminish. The whisper faded into stillness, but its memory pulsed within her, steady as a secret heartbeat. Athena stepped into the night, and the stars seemed to glow brighter, as if welcoming her resolve. Thus began the true opening of her journey, not into lands of conquest, but into realms of thought. She would follow not power, not glory, but the call of voices that asked only to be remembered. The mind eternal was waiting, not in one place, but everywhere minds had dared to dream and to speak. And so, lantern in hand, she walked into the night, carrying silence, carrying hope, carrying wonder. The night deepened as Athena rested beneath the sky, her lantern glowing faintly like a star held close. Sleep came softly, not as escape but as a bridge, leading her into a realm where silence spoke clearly. She drifted into a dream, where the air shimmered with light, and the ground beneath was made of thought. In this dream place, time had no edge. It bent like water, flowing forward and backward in endless harmony. Athena stood upon a plain of silver mist, and from its depths emerged a figure shaped of questions. The figure was neither man nor woman, neither old nor young. It was the spirit of the unspoken. Its voice was gentle, a melody woven from curiosity itself, echoing in every corner of her being. "Goddess of wisdom," it said, "why do you seek? What stirs you to walk beyond the known?" Athena answered not with pride but with honesty, her words clear as if carved from crystal air. "I seek the mind eternal. I seek to know if thought can live without end, if wisdom can outlast even time." The figure swayed like smoke, shifting as if her words had painted colors across its unseen form. "Eternal mind is not treasure," it said softly. "It is not a crown to wear, nor a secret to hide. It is a path, a song sung by countless voices, a river carried not by one, but by all who dream." Athena felt the truth stir within her, yet she asked, "Where shall I walk to follow this river?" The figure extended a hand woven of light, pointing not outward but inward toward her own heart. "You must listen," it whispered, "to the voices of mortals, to the silence of earth, to the breath of stars. Each will reveal a fragment. Each will remind you that the eternal mind is woven, never owned." Athena lowered her gaze, humbled, realizing that even she must become a student in this quest. The dream shifted again, and the silver plain opened into a vast sky filled with floating letters. Each letter shone, bright and fragile, drifting like fireflies, carrying echoes of unspoken thoughts. She reached toward one and felt the memory of a child's question, innocent and bright as dawn. Another drifted past, humming with the wonder of an elder, pondering the meaning of life's circle. Voices mingled, rising, weaving together into a symphony that touched her soul with quiet power. The figure's voice returned, softer now, as though fading with the mist that began to dissolve. "Carry what you hear. Do not seek to bind it. Let it breathe, and the river will guide you always." Athena reached out, but the dream began to fade, the silver mist turning once more into the night. Her eyes opened slowly. The stars above still burned, eternal as the dream's message in her mind. She placed a hand upon her chest, feeling her heart echo the rhythm of the voices she had heard. The lantern beside her still glowed, though its flame had grown small, as if it too had dreamed. Athena whispered to herself, "The journey begins not in power, but in listening to all that is unseen." She rose, her gaze steady upon the horizon, where dawn's first light prepared to break the dark. In her dream, she had been given not answers but direction, not certainty, but an open path. She understood this was the gift, the courage to walk humbly guided by questions, not by pride. And so, as the sun began to rise, Athena stepped forward, carrying the dream within her soul. For the messenger had spoken true. The mind eternal was not a secret to uncover, but a song to hear. Athena walked at dawn, her lantern dim against the rising sun, yet her spirit glowed brighter with resolve. The path before her wound through valleys of stone, carrying the scent of earth and the song of rivers. She walked not as a goddess set above, but as a wanderer, quiet and open to the voices of the world. Every step was deliberate, as if each sound of her sandals marked a promise to listen, not to command. The whispers of her dreams still lingered, urging her to seek, to carry fragments of wisdom like jewels. In the distance, the hum of mortal life stirred, gentle and fragile, yet filled with the weight of wonder. She entered a small village, its streets narrow, its walls worn by time, but its people warm and kind. Children ran with laughter, their joy echoing louder than any hymn sung to the heavens above. Athena smiled faintly, realizing that such laughter was wisdom too, a voice in the eternal chorus. She stopped at a fountain where water danced in sunlight, and there she listened to the murmurs. A farmer spoke of the soil, how each seed carried a dream of tomorrow hidden within its husk. A weaver sang as her hands moved swiftly, her song weaving threads of memory into living cloth. An elder sat in shadow, telling a story of long ago, his voice carrying both silence and deep truth. Athena did not reveal her divinity. She asked questions gently, letting their voices guide her inward. From the farmer, she learned patience. From the weaver, she learned continuity. From the elder, she learned trust. The fragments came together, not as answers, but as notes in a melody she could almost hear. At dusk, when the village grew quiet, Athena rested near the fountain, the air scented with earth. She reflected on her dream and on the voices she had gathered like drops of water in a cup. The mind eternal, she thought, was not only in books or stars, but in these everyday lives. The farmer's soil, the weaver's song, the elder's story, all were threads woven into timeless fabric. Yet she felt there was more, a deeper voice waiting, hidden beyond the reach of common days. As night fell, she followed a narrow road out of the village, guided only by the silver of the moon. Her lantern glowed once more, a small flame steady against the expanse of darkness all around. The silence of the path was different from the library's silence. This silence was alive, breathing. She stopped where the road curved, looking back at the village lights twinkling like scattered stars. She realized then that the journey was not to collect knowledge like stones, but to listen without end. The whispers of the dream messenger echoed again. Do not bind what you hear. Let it breathe. Athena lifted her face to the sky, and the stars seemed to nod, as if affirming her quiet discovery. She whispered, the journey is not mine alone. It belongs to every heart that dares to wonder. And with those words, she walked onward, her lantern steady, her spirit alight with new beginnings. The path was long, but she carried no burden. She carried fragments of voices, bound by gentleness. And so the wanderer goddess stepped further into the world, seeking not power, but eternal listening. Athena's steps carried her farther from the village, into hills where the river bent like a silver thread. The air was crisp, touched with the scent of pine, and the sound of flowing water guided her forward. She followed the riverbank, where stones glistened with dew, each one reflecting fragments of morning. Ahead, seated upon a worn bench of rock, was a figure cloaked in the calm of quiet meditation. The man was aged, his beard long and white, his hands resting gently upon a staff carved with care. Athena approached slowly, her lantern dim now in daylight, yet still glowing faintly like her intent. The old philosopher opened his eyes, and in them was no surprise, as though he had expected her. "Traveler," he said, his voice soft but steady. "The river told me someone seeking wisdom would come." Athena bowed her head slightly, honoring his years and the serenity that seemed to surround him. "I seek the mind eternal," she said, her words clear as the stream that rippled beside them. The philosopher smiled faintly, his gaze falling to the water as though it carried her question away. "Thought is like this river," he said. "It moves, it changes, yet its song is older than both you and me." Can the river die? No. It continues, even when unseen, shaping valleys and carrying dreams forward. Athena listened closely, her heart leaning into the rhythm of his words, as if they were part of the stream. "Every mind that wanders," he continued, "adds a drop to the current. The eternal lies not in one, but all." He lifted his hand, dipping his fingers into the water, then letting the droplets fall back with ease. These drops vanish to the eye, but they are never lost. They become the river once more. Athena felt the truth in his gesture, the humility of knowing that wisdom is shared, not possessed. She asked him gently, "Then the eternal mind is not a treasure waiting, but a current already flowing?" The old man nodded slowly, his eyes reflecting the sky above. "Yes, it is here. It is always here." He told her of his years spent teaching, of students who carried his thoughts far beyond his reach. "Even when I am gone," he said, "their voices will carry fragments of mine, mixed with their own." Athena felt a quiet respect rise within her, for here was a mortal who had touched eternity in life. The philosopher closed his eyes again, listening to the river's music, content in its endless journey. Athena stood in silence beside him, allowing the river to speak in ripples, splashes, and soft flow. She realized that the eternal mind was not lofty, not distant. It was in every word passed forward. The lesson did not come with thunder or flame. It came with water, patient and unceasing. Athena bowed once more, gratitude shining in her expression, though no words were needed. The old man opened his eyes and smiled, as if he had already heard her unspoken thanks. "Go," he said kindly. "The river will follow you, wherever your path may lead." Athena turned and began walking once more, the sound of water following like a faithful companion. She carried with her not just the whisper of dreams, but the philosopher's vision of flowing thought. As the path rose into higher ground, the river narrowed, yet its song grew sharper, clearer to hear. Athena whispered to herself, "The mind eternal is a river. I am not apart from it. I am within it." The day stretched long, but her spirit was light, for she carried not burden, but a gift of clarity. The sun lowered toward evening, painting the sky gold, and the river shimmered in farewell light. Athena paused once more at the edge of the stream, letting her hand skim its cool, steady surface. The water slipped through her fingers, yet she knew it was never lost. It flowed onward, always onward. And with that final reflection, she lifted her gaze to the horizon and stepped into the coming dusk. Athena walked until the mountains softened into meadows, where the air shimmered with fragrance of blossoms. The path bent into a hidden valley, and at its heart lay a vast garden, wild yet strangely harmonious. Every tree bent with grace, its branches whispering as though they carried memories of countless minds. The flowers bloomed in endless colors, their petals trembling like thoughts just spoken into the world. Athena stepped quietly among them, her lantern glowing faintly even under the bright light of day. She felt the air alive with echoes. Not voices of mortals nearby, but voices from the past itself. A rose leaned close, and in its scent she heard the laughter of a poet who once dreamed by moonlight. A tall oak stood still, and in its bark she sensed the weight of a philosopher's patient reflections. The garden was not ordinary. It was a place where thoughts became seeds and memory became roots. Every step she took revealed new whispers, soft threads of wisdom woven into leaf, stem, and soil. She knelt by a stream that cut through the garden, its waters shimmering with fragments of human wonder. Dipping her hand into the current, she felt a song ripple through her, a hymn of forgotten inventors. Each droplet carried an idea, some small as a child's question, some vast as the dream of stars. Athena closed her eyes and let the stream speak, until her heart pulsed with the rhythm of its song. When she rose, she followed a narrow path lined with lilies, each one glowing faintly in her presence. The lilies spoke without sound, sharing the voices of teachers, healers, and humble storytellers. Their wisdom was not grand or heavy, but gentle, like threads binding the fabric of generations. At the garden's center stood a stone arch, covered in ivy that twisted like flowing script of old. She placed her hand upon the stone, and a sudden silence fell, deep and encompassing. In that silence, she understood. The garden was not only alive, it was listening to her as well. Her own thoughts echoed back, not as she spoke them, but as they truly were, bare and unguarded. The garden showed her that the eternal mind was both giver and receiver, a cycle without end. Athena whispered softly, "Wisdom breathes here. Memory grows here. The mind, eternal, lives here." A breeze stirred, scattering petals into the air, and the garden seemed to nod in acknowledgement. She felt humbled, realizing that even silence could bloom into eternal thought when tended with care. No temple, no scroll, no shrine could hold such truth. Only the living world could carry it onward. Athena lingered until the shadows stretched long, gathering fragments of voices in her spirit. She thought of the philosopher by the river, of the villagers she had met, and now of this garden. Each place offered a fragment, a thread of the tapestry she sought, yet the picture was still incomplete. She knew her path must continue, for the eternal mind could not be found in a single valley alone. Still, she carried the garden's gift with her, the certainty that thoughts, once born, never truly vanish. As she walked away, the petals swirled gently in the air, following her steps like blessings. The garden faded behind her, hidden once more, but its whispers remained clear in her soul. And so Athena journeyed onward, her lantern glowing, her heart open, and her mind ever listening. The path carried Athena higher into the hills, where the wind turned sharp and the sky deepened in color. She walked steadily, lantern in hand, though its glow seemed faint beneath the vastness of the heavens. As dusk arrived, the first stars began to appear, scattered like ancient runes across a boundless canvas. Athena paused at a ridge, breath quiet, her eyes lifting to the constellations shining with timeless clarity. The stars spoke without words, each one a flame burning stories of those who gazed before her. She felt their presence like an audience unseen, watching, guiding, reminding her of her place in eternity. A low hum rose around her, not from the earth, but from the sky itself, a music woven from starlight. Her lantern pulsed in answer, its glow syncing with the rhythm of that cosmic song. Athena stepped forward and found a circle of stones, worn smooth by ages, marking a place of communion. She stood in its center, the heavens above her, the earth steady below, her soul balanced between. Closing her eyes, she breathed deeply, letting the starlight settle not upon her skin, but into her spirit. Visions came, not in chaos, but in a stream of symbols, simple and ancient, like the language of dreams. She saw a child gazing upward, whispering questions to the stars and receiving courage in return. She saw an elder mapping the heavens, drawing lines to trace meaning from scattered brilliance. She saw countless travelers, across centuries, looking to the same constellations for comfort and direction. The stars did not answer with certainty, but with presence, constant and eternal, beyond mortal measure. Athena opened her eyes, and the constellations above seemed brighter, alive with quiet affirmation. She whispered to herself, "The eternal mind is not just water or earth, but also fire and light." Each element offered its voice, and the stars were the voice of infinity, patient and unbroken. She raised her lantern high, and its flame mirrored the stars, a small echo of their vast illumination. In that reflection, she understood. Even the smallest light participates in the eternal brilliance of thought. The stones around her hummed faintly, carrying vibrations of rituals long past, of seekers before her. She knelt upon the earth, grateful, and felt the ground return her pulse with a steady, grounding rhythm. The stars above, the earth below, the breath within, all three joined in her as a single harmony. Athena knew she must continue her path, but she lingered to honor this meeting of mortal and eternal. She touched one of the stones gently, and in her mind she heard echoes of voices long turned to dust. Yet those voices were not gone. They still shone, refracted through the constellations that had seen it all. She rose slowly, carrying not only her lantern, but also the starlight now woven into her being. As she walked from the circle, the stars did not fade. Instead, they followed, guiding her steps forward. The night deepened, but she was unafraid, for she carried the presence of countless souls with her. Each footstep echoed softly on the path, matched by the silent rhythm of the heavens above. She thought of the river, of the garden, of the stars, each a thread weaving a tapestry without end. The eternal mind was not distant, not unreachable. It was in water, in earth, in fire, in sky. It was in every question asked, every dream born, every truth whispered across time. Athena smiled softly as the night air embraced her, for she knew she was never walking alone. And so the journey continued, under constellations that burned with memory, meaning, and eternal light. Dawn arrived slowly, painting the horizon in soft amber as Athena descended from the starlit heights. The valley below was veiled in mist, its silence broken only by the call of distant morning birds. Her lantern flickered faintly, as though resting after the long vigil under the constellation's gaze. Athena followed a narrow trail that led into the mist, her footsteps quiet, her breath steady. The air thickened, carrying scents of damp earth and echoes too faint to belong to the living. She soon reached a stone bridge, its surface worn smooth, spanning a river hidden beneath fog. As she stepped onto it, whispers rose from the mist, voices layered like threads of forgotten memory. The bridge was no ordinary crossing. It was a threshold between the seen and the unseen. Athena paused midway, listening as the whispers grew clearer, forming fragments of thought. One voice spoke of love never confessed, another of a dream abandoned, another of truth left unshared. The voices were not sorrowful, but yearning like unfinished verses, longing to join a greater song. Athena placed her hand on the railing, and the lantern flared, casting warm light into the fog. The voices shifted, no longer restless, but calm, as if soothed by her steady presence. She whispered gently, "Your words are not lost. They flow onward, carried by the eternal mind." The mist swirled, parting briefly to reveal a figure at the far end of the bridge. It was neither young nor old, cloaked in gray, their face hidden, but their presence familiar. The figure lifted a hand in greeting, and Athena felt no fear, only a deep, quiet recognition. The guardian of the threshold spoke, their voice both near and far, like wind through many trees. Every thought unspoken, every dream unmet, finds its way here, waiting to be remembered. Athena bowed her head, sensing the weight of countless lives woven into the air around them. The guardian continued, "The eternal mind is not only what is shared, but also what lingers unspoken." She understood then. Silence itself was a vessel, carrying truths too fragile for words. Athena asked softly, "Do these voices ever fade?" The guardian replied, "No, they do not fade. They merge into the unseen current, where all becomes whole." Her heart swelled, touched by the gentle certainty of their words. She realized that the eternal mind held not only wisdom, but also longing, dreams, and unfinished echoes. The bridge beneath her seemed to pulse with life, as if carrying her forward across memory itself. When she reached the far side, the guardian bowed once more, then dissolved back into mist. Athena stepped onto solid ground, but she felt as though she carried the bridge within her. She looked back only once, seeing the fog fold over the stones, leaving no trace of the crossing. Her lantern glowed brighter now, its flame enriched by the whispers of the unseen. Athena walked onward, her steps lighter, her spirit deeper, her mind more attuned to the eternal. The valley opened before her, sunlight breaking through the mist, scattering diamonds of morning light. She whispered, "The eternal mind holds both the spoken and the unspoken, the seen and the unseen." Each lesson gathered was not separate, but connected, forming a chorus of truth within her. Athena smiled, grateful for the bridge, the guardian, and the voices that had found their rest. And so she continued, carrying the unseen whispers within her heart, walking toward the promise of day. Athena's path led her beyond the valley, into rolling fields where the wind moved like an endless chorus. The tall grasses swayed in rhythm, as if each blade held its own thought, bending yet never breaking. Her lantern flickered, catching the shimmer of golden waves, alive with whispers carried on the breeze. Athena paused, closing her eyes, letting the wind press gently against her face and carry her breath away. It was then she heard them, voices not bound by place, but soaring, unchained, free as the sky itself. Some voices sang, others laughed, some wept softly, but together they formed a harmony of existence. The wind became a messenger, bearing stories of people who once dreamed under open skies. A child's laughter rushed past her ear, followed by a mother's lullaby, and then a wanderer's prayer. Athena opened her eyes, her heart swelling, realizing the air itself remembered and repeated. She whispered, "The eternal mind does not stand still. It moves, restless and alive, like the wind." As she walked, the voices swirled around her, never clashing, always weaving into one great tapestry. The field opened onto a hilltop crowned with a lone tree, its branches spread wide in eternal embrace. Athena climbed to its roots, placing her lantern beside her, and let the wind rush through the branches. The tree trembled, leaves fluttering, and with them came deeper voices, older, resonant, wise. They spoke of journeys across seas, of builders who raised cities, of seekers who searched beyond stars. Athena felt her spirit lifted, carried upward by these unseen wings of memory and dream. The wind did not belong to one person or place. It belonged to all, passing freely, endlessly. She whispered, "This too is eternal. Thought that moves, shared by no single hand, carried by all." The tree stood silent but strong, anchoring her, reminding her that even freedom needs roots to endure. Athena leaned against its trunk, hearing the heartbeat of the earth mixing with the song of the air. She realized then, the eternal mind was not bound by form, but always in motion, never confined. Her lantern glowed steady now, brighter than before, as if it too had learned to breathe with the wind. Athena rose, lifting her gaze to the horizon, where the field stretched into endless possibility. Every step forward scattered the grasses, and each movement stirred new voices in reply. She listened as the wind carried laughter from behind her, reminding her that the past never truly left. It circled forward, turning into a whisper of encouragement, urging her toward what lay ahead. Athena smiled, grateful for the lesson of the wind. That freedom, too, was part of eternity's design. The eternal mind was not still stone, not silent water, not distant fire, but moving breath itself. She felt herself lighter, her burdens carried away, her spirit dancing like leaves in unseen currents. At the edge of the field, the wind stilled, calm and quiet, leaving only her own breath in the silence. Athena bowed gently to the air around her, acknowledging the gift she had received. Her path curved onward, and though the voices grew faint, she knew they traveled with her still. The wind would carry her thoughts too, long after her footsteps left the fields behind. And so she continued, with lantern glowing, heart unbound, and mind open to the moving eternal. Athena's path curved into a valley where stone arches rose, carved with spirals that shimmered faintly in the dusk. The air was cool and heavy, carrying the fragrance of moss, water, and memories too deep to be forgotten. She paused at the threshold, sensing the hush of countless thoughts resting here like sacred echoes. Her lantern dimmed as if humbled, casting only a soft glow against the carvings etched with infinite care. The spirals pulsed faintly, not with light, but with remembrance, alive in their silence, breathing in their stillness. Athena reached out, brushing her fingers across the stone, and a gentle vibration met her skin in reply. It was not sound, but resonance, as though the rock itself carried the imprint of ancient reflection. A voice rose within her mind, calm and measured, neither hers nor another's, but belonging to all. It said, "The eternal mind is not only in the wind, but also in the stone, unyielding yet enduring." Athena listened, her breath steady, realizing that eternity wore many faces, some still, some moving. The valley grew brighter as her lantern aligned with the rhythm of the spirals, glowing in quiet harmony. She heard laughter in the echoes, not from outside, but from within the stone, timeless and serene. Mothers, fathers, children, dreamers, all had touched this place, leaving thought like threads in its grain. She realized then, memory was another kind of eternity, not fleeting like breath, but anchored in form. Athena walked deeper, passing under arches that curved like gateways, each more intricate than the last. Every arch resonated with a different tone, blending into a symphony of quiet endurance. She whispered, "The eternal mind does not fear silence, for silence too is part of its song." At the valley's heart, a pool reflected the arches above, creating an endless circle of stone and light. Athena knelt at its edge, watching her reflection ripple, merging with countless faces beneath the surface. Some smiled, some closed their eyes, some whispered words too soft for her ears, but clear in her soul. She touched the water, and the pool stirred, not breaking but expanding, as if embracing her presence. In that moment, Athena understood. Eternity was not only to move forward, but also to preserve. The stone and water did not chase time. They held it gently, keeping it safe for those who would come. Her lantern blazed brighter, not by force, but by resonance, glowing in tune with the pool's reflection. Athena stood, hearing the valley whisper, "You are part of us now, and we are part of you." The arches behind her hummed as if to affirm her step, guiding her forward toward the next horizon. She carried the thought with her. Eternity was not only breath and movement, but also memory and form. As she left the valley, the stone shimmered softly, releasing her, yet promising never to forget her. The echoes followed her, not clinging but blessing, weaving her journey into the endless tapestry. Athena glanced back once, bowing slightly, grateful for the patience of stone and the clarity of silence. Her path bent upward now, where dawn touched the ridges, and the world seemed to wait for her arrival. She walked with lighter steps, knowing eternity did not rush, but stretched infinitely in all directions. And as the horizon widened, she whispered, "The eternal mind lives both in motion and in stillness." Athena entered a wide plain where mirrors of water stretched like glass, reflecting the heavens in endless patterns. The sky was vast, painted with clouds that drifted, slowly, dissolving and reforming like gentle thoughts. Her lantern cast ripples across the surface, bending stars into wavering lines that danced upon the pools. Every step she took disturbed the water, yet each ripple settled, restoring balance as if nothing had passed. She knelt by a pool, gazing into its depth, and saw not her face, but 1,000 reflections of herself. Some were smiling, others weeping, some silent, but all were true, bound together in a living mosaic. Athena whispered, "The eternal mind is also reflection, carrying all selves, all moments, without judgment." The water responded with a shimmer, like a quiet nod, as though it too recognized its role in eternity. She placed her hand upon the surface, expecting to break it, yet the pool accepted her gently. It felt neither solid nor void, but a balance, a meeting point between earth and sky, past and future. The voices returned, but softer now, like whispers carried in water, flowing endlessly without resistance. They spoke not of burden, but of acceptance, the calm that comes when one sees all parts as one. Athena listened, letting her breath align with the rhythm of the pools, steady and unbroken. She realized then, eternity is not only stone or wind, but also reflection, where all is gathered and held. The plain opened further, each pool reflecting not just the sky, but entire worlds hidden in their depths. She saw visions of places she had never walked, yet they lived in her as if she belonged to them. Mountains rose in one reflection, seas surged in another, cities glowed in yet another. Each vision revealed a truth. The eternal mind was not bound to one world, but infinite and expansive. Athena's lantern glowed brighter, though not by its own flame. It was reflecting the pools around it. Its light multiplied, carried endlessly across the surface, uniting every pool into a single ocean of glow. She smiled, recognizing that her light was not hers alone, but shared, refracted, and returned by the water. Athena stood, her voice calm. The eternal mind is the union of all reflections, never lost, always returned. The pools shimmered in agreement, their ripples forming gentle circles that spread yet never collided. She walked onward, her steps creating ripples that grew, reaching farther than her eyes could follow. Each ripple seemed to whisper encouragement, reminding her that even the smallest act could touch eternity. Athena's heart felt lighter, knowing she did not walk alone, but carried the reflections of countless souls. The pools behind her glowed faintly, holding her image as part of their eternal collection. She bowed gently to them, acknowledging their wisdom, then turned to face the open horizon. The plain stretched endlessly, water and sky blending until they were indistinguishable. She realized then that eternity had no separation, no border, no division, only continuity. Her lantern, steady and bright, cast a final reflection before the pools faded behind her. Athena walked on, whispering softly, "The eternal mind gathers, reflects, and returns forever." Athena reached the final ridge, where Earth fell away into an endless horizon painted with light and shadow. The sky stretched wide, carrying the glow of dawn and the quiet hush of stars that lingered a little longer. Her lantern burned softly, no longer a guide, but a companion, reflecting the journey it had walked with her. She stood still, feeling the ground firm beneath her feet, and let the vast silence fold gently around her. The wind whispered, the stone resonated, the water reflected, and the fire within her heart glowed steady. All the voices she had heard along her path gathered here, not clashing, but merging into one gentle harmony. They spoke without words, a chorus of presence, reminding her that she had never been alone. Athena closed her eyes, breathing deeply, sensing eternity not as distance, but as fullness within. She whispered, "The eternal mind is not beyond reach. It is here, woven into each breath and step." Her lantern shimmered, as if bowing with her words, and released a soft glow into the air around her. The light drifted upward, not lost, but carried, scattering into the sky like countless seeds of thought. She realized then that her journey had never been about seeking a single answer, but about listening. Each place, each voice, each reflection had been a thread, and together they formed a boundless tapestry. The eternal mind was not an end to find, but a living truth to recognize, share, and become. Athena smiled, her heart steady, her spirit quiet, her step ready for whatever lay beyond the horizon. The world before her shimmered, not promising certainty, but offering infinite paths, each alive with meaning. She bowed once more, to the sky, the earth, the wind, the stone, the water, and the light she carried. Her voice was soft but clear. "I am part of eternity, and eternity is part of me." The horizon brightened, not with fire or thunder, but with a warmth that welcomed and embraced. Athena lifted her lantern, though it no longer needed to burn, for its flame lived within her now. She stepped forward, her shadow stretching long, her presence merging with the vastness around her. The voices that had guided her fell into silence, not gone, but resting, content to simply be. Her journey's end was not an end at all, but a return, a recognition, a quiet beginning. Athena's steps grew lighter, carrying her into the horizon, into the breath of the eternal mind. Behind her, the path remained open, glowing faintly as though waiting for others who would one day walk. The story she carried was no longer hers alone, but part of the great current that flows forever. And so, the lantern's glow became starlight. Her voice became wind, her heart became part of eternity. Athena's name faded into the song of all names, not lost, but joined, never ending, always alive. The eternal mind welcomed her, not as guest nor stranger, but as one who had always belonged. And the horizon, endless and bright, held her gently, carrying her onward into forever.